Hi everyone, today we are going back to basics with 10 everyday yoga poses. Now, if you missed my last video, you may have missed my pregnancy announcement, but since I have become pregnant, it has been more difficult to do some of the challenging yoga poses that I love to do. But what I have been doing is making sure to incorporate these 10 poses into every sequence I've been practicing. So whether you do these together or incorporate them into a longer sequence, they are really great fundamental poses. So let's get started. For our first everyday yoga pose, we are gonna do a really nice neck release. I love to do this every day, especially if you're someone that has trouble sleeping or kind of gets a kink in your neck when you're sleeping. It's a really great one to start with. So we're gonna start first by just inhaling our shoulders up and down, away from our ears, settling in. And then we're gonna roll our neck one side to the other. So bring our chin to our shoulder and then rolling to the opposite side. Making sure to sit up tall when you come to center each time. We'll do one more on the other side. And then coming back to the middle, we're gonna inhale our arms up over our head. Exhale, shift over to one side, reaching through your top arm. Inhale, lift up. Reach over, spiraling your chest towards the sky. Now on our next cycle, we're gonna inhale up. Exhale, this time leave your hand planted on the ground. Really reach through those top fingertips, and then we're gonna reach our hand down so our hand comes about a foot off the ground, reach through your fingertips, and then let your neck completely relax here. And you can move your chin up and down to find the best spot for you, but you should be feeling a really great release through your neck. When you found a spot that works, you can stay there. Make sure to sit tall. Keep your bottom shoulder dropped away from your ear. Inhale. Exhale. And then come back to center, leaving your neck relaxed. And then just use your hand to help your head back up towards the center. We're gonna reset in the middle. Bring shoulders up to your ears, back and down. Inhale your arms up. And then release down, bending to the other side. Spiraling torso open. And then releasing that top hand until it's about a foot off the floor, reaching through the fingertips. The more you reach, the more you're gonna feel the stretch in the side of your neck. And then release your neck. And then you can just play with the tilt of your chin here to find the spot that feels the best for you. Make sure to keep both sits bones rooted to the mat. Shoulders drop down away from your ear. Inhale. Exhale. Then come back to the center. Use your hand to help your head up. Bring your hands back onto your knees. Close your eyes. Take a cleansing breath. And we'll move on to our second pose. For our second pose, we are gonna do some gentle hip circles. Now these are really wonderful if you sit at a desk all day or if you spend a lot of time in the car. It's a gentle movement, but it has a lot of benefits. So I'm gonna move my hips back just slightly so my feet are a little bit in front of my body. This is just gonna give me a little bit more room to move. And make sure that your feet are one in front of the other. If you're crossing your legs with stacked ankles or crossed ankles, you wanna undo that. And just make sure that they are directly one in front of the other. Now from here, you can bring hands onto your knees. We're gonna inhale, coming forward, really reaching with our chest, coming forward with our chest. Inhale. And then exhale, come back. You can round your spine, bring your shoulders forward. Inhale, lead with your chest. Exhale, round as you come back. Inhale. Exhale as you come back. Let's do one more in this direction. Inhale. Exhale as we come back. And then we're gonna switch directions. Always make sure to do both sides. You can spend a little bit more time on one side if you're feeling tighter. Or if you find a spot that's quite sticky, you might just wanna go back and forth a little bit. Do whatever feels really good here. You might find some spots that you're finding a lot of release in. Keep breathing. It's often very easy to hold your breath here. We'll do one more full round all the way forward, all the way back. And then come back to the center. We're gonna root our hands onto our knees, lift up, tuck our chin slightly, lift our chest, and take a deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth to end our pose. For our third pose, we're going to come into cat-cow. So we're gonna plant our hands on the mat directly under our shoulders. Knees are directly under your hips. Make sure to spread your fingers nice and wide, root down through all of your fingers. You wanna press up to find space between your shoulder blades. Then we're gonna inhale, lift your head, drop your belly. Exhale to round, look towards your belly button. Inhale, look up. Exhale to round. Inhale to look up. Exhale to round. One more time, inhale, look up. Exhale, round. And then to come out, we're gonna bring our knees together and shift back into child's pose. For our fourth pose, we're going to come into a simple side stretch. Now, I love this pose because it is a little bit gentler than a half moon, but you still get a great lengthening through your side body. So with your left hand at your side, we're gonna lift our right arm up and just gently bend over to the side. Then we're gonna flow a little bit. So we're gonna switch arms, bend over, making sure to rotate your chest and torso towards the sky as you bend, keeping legs engaged and together. Bottom shoulder stays down away from your ear, and you really want to reach through those top fingertips. We'll do one more on each side. Really reach. Last one, reach. And then come back to the center. You can bring your hands to your heart, tuck your chin slightly. We're going to take one breath in. Cleansing breath out through your mouth. And now we're ready to move on to our next pose. For our fifth pose, we're going to move into a crescent lunge. So you can start by standing at the top of your mat, feet together. You can place your hands on your hips to help with balance as you step back. And then we're gonna lunge backwards, so lifting right leg, bringing it all the way back until you're in a deep lunge. You're gonna keep your back foot lifted and try to bring your heel so it's directly over your toes. Bend into your front knee. Now, if your knee is way behind your foot, you either wanna try to bend in deeper or you might need to shorten your stance. And if it's way over, you wanna lift back up or lengthen your stance a little bit. Now, once it's stacked directly over your knee and you can see your big toe, you wanna try to bring both hips so they're pointing forward. Engage that back leg so it's nice and straight. If it's really sagging down, try to lift it up. And then once you've found your balance, you can inhale your arms up over your head. Keep your tailbone tucked. Keep your chin level. Inhale. Exhale. And on each breath, you can try to bend a little bit deeper, feeling that stretch in your front hip. Inhale. Exhale, bend a little deeper. One more, inhale. Exhale. And then get ready, root your legs down and step all the way up to the front of the mat. Bring your hands to your heart for a final cleansing breath in. Exhale through your mouth before repeating on the other side. For our sixth pose, we're going to come into Malasana, or a deep squat. So you can start on your knees here, and then we are going to come up into the beginning of a squatting position. You can bring your feet kind of close together at first. I like to rock back and forth a little bit to kind of open up my hips before we move fully into the pose. You can step your feet a little bit wider. And again, I like to kind of rock into this pose. If you can come right into it, go ahead. But my hips are a little bit tighter today, so sometimes I like to open them up a little bit more before relaxing down. If your heels pop up, that's just fine. You want to keep your tailbone reaching towards the ground. Bring your hands inside of your legs. Use your elbows to help spread your knees a little bit wider. Hands to your chest. Flat back. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more time, deep inhale, deep exhale. And then when I come out of this pose, I like to put my hands onto the mat, and then I like to either rock out of it again, or you can lift your hips up and then just come back into a hero pose on the mat. For our 7th pose, we're going to come into a real classic yoga pose. It's downward facing dog. But this pose is not to be underestimated. It is a tricky one, so make sure to come into it step by step. We're gonna start on our hands and knees, almost like we're in our tabletop position. We're gonna step our hands out a little bit further in front of us, making sure to spread your fingers really wide. Spreading your fingers wide and rooting those down is gonna help to protect your wrists in this pose. We're gonna tuck our toes under, and then we're gonna lift our knees up and shift our hips up and back. You can start to pedal your feet here, especially if you have tight hamstrings. This is gonna be really helpful. And then to settle into the pose, you can bend your knees generously here to create a long line all the way from your wrists to your tailbone. Now, if you're really kind of rounding or coming forward when you have straight legs, you want to bend those knees, shift back, rotate your shoulder blades so your armpits are almost like coming in towards the center of your body, making sure you have a wide, flat back. Inhale here, exhale. Inhale, trying to drop your chest towards your thighs. And then we're going to drop our knees back onto the ground. You can separate your knees nice and wide and come into a wide leg child's pose. For our 8th pose, we're gonna come into pigeon. Now, we're gonna start in downward facing dog to come into this one. So once again, you're gonna plant your hands, fingers are spread nice and wide. We're gonna lift our hips back and up, and then we're gonna bring our right knee towards our right wrist, bringing it right behind that wrist, keeping your right foot flexed. And we're going to just walk our back leg in a little bit, so it's almost coming out right from our tailbone. It's almost like you've got a little tail there. We're gonna walk our hands back towards our body, find lots of length in our spine before folding all the way over that front leg. Now you can find a comfortable spot here, whether you're up on your forearms or you're all the way down with your head resting on your hands. Either one is totally fine. We just wanna make sure that we're not rocking to one side or the other. So you wanna engage through your mid-body and your legs to ensure that your hips are centered and square. We're gonna get a really wonderful hip stretch here. If your back knee, if you're finding there's any pain in your back knee, you can also feel free to tuck those back toes under. And if you're feeling any pain in your front knee, you wanna come out of this pose and do figure 4 instead. I'll leave a link in the description box to a great explanation of that pose. Make sure that you don't feel too much stress on your shoulders here. You don't wanna be collapsing too much. We still wanna be nice and lifted. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. And then to come out, we're just gonna walk our hands back towards our body. And you can either come back into downward facing dog, or you can shift onto your hip. I like to come out this way and just bring your back leg around so you're in a comfortable seated position. And then you can go back into downward dog and repeat on the other side. For our last 2 poses, we're gonna roll onto our back. So for number 9, we're gonna move into happy baby, rolling down. And once you've found a comfortable spot, shoulder blades are rolled underneath your body, feet are flat on the ground. We're gonna bring our knees up, grab onto our knees and separate them first. So we're gonna start in half happy baby here. Now you can either stay here, or if you're feeling ready to move a little bit deeper, we're gonna grab onto the outsides of our feet and then lift your feet up until your calves are perpendicular with the floor. We wanna keep our shoulders rooted down and try to roll your tailbone down onto the mat so we're creating a long spine here. Feet are flexed, and you can even start to roll back and forth a little bit, giving yourself a bit of a massage, rolling around like an actual happy baby. We all know where this pose gets its name. I'm gonna breathe deeply here, inhale, Exhale, bring those knees a little bit closer to your armpits. Inhale. Exhale, bringing them in. And then to come out, we're going to drop our feet, coming out the exact same way we came in, bringing hands onto knees first, and then bringing knees in. You can help them in. Give yourself a little hug. And then extend your feet back onto the ground before we come into our last pose. For our final pose, we're coming into my very favorite variation of a spinal twist. So what we're going to do is extend our right leg out, and then we're going to push into our left foot and just lift our hips up about 2 inches to the left side. We're going to bring left foot onto our right knee. Use your right hand to grab onto left knee. And then you're going to use that hand to help pull that knee over to the side. Now, as soon as your shoulder starts to come up, you want to roll back a little bit. Make sure both shoulders stay rooted onto the mat. And then open up that left arm to the side. And you can look over your left arm here. And you can close your eyes. Really relax into this one. Using your hand to gently help bring that knee down a little bit further towards the floor. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Long exhale. And then to come out, we're just going to roll back to center. Plant your left foot back on the mat. You're going to push into it to realign your hips. We're going to bring both knees in and give yourself a hug before repeating on the other side. I hope you enjoyed these 10 fundamental yoga poses today. Now, if you're looking for a deeper explanation of any pose featured today, or another pose that you may just be wondering about, be sure to leave that in the comment section below. I would love to do a dedicated video on it. And if you're looking for any other sequences, be sure to check out the description box. I've got lots of options there. And lastly, if you haven't subscribed yet, be sure to, because I've got lots of great yoga sequences coming up throughout the whole summer. Thank you so much for watching, and I can't wait to share the mat again with you very soon.